Ever push an oil change to next weekend, then hear a harsh ticking at cold start and feel brutal panic? That is how extended intervals become expensive, costly regret. We ran one engine on a controlled, repeatable loop. Same oil, same filter. Only the timing changed, short versus long. We tracked temps, cut filters, checked metallic wear, and scoped deposits. You will see which schedule keeps parts cleaner and which one destroys engines faster before you pay for expensive damage. Section 1. Testing setup, fairness rules, and the villain. Dealers sell low maintenance, quick lube chains sell flushes, and we get trapped in confusion, profits, and guessing. So we used one modern 4-cylinder, 2.5 liter, roughly 152 cubic inches, direct injection, built for efficiency, not abuse, under everyday heat cycles. We ran a repeatable loop, cold start, short errand miles, steady highway miles, plus idle time because real traffic creates heating and contamination. Same fuel brand, same oil spec, same filter model, same tire pressure, same load, same torque routine, because fairness and testing matter. The only variable was the interval strategy. Shorter changes versus longer changes that feel smarter and riskier. We pulled oil into clear jars at fixed mile marks, logged oil temperature, and recorded startup sound with consistent, accurate readings. We cut filters open, spread pleats under bright lighting, and scoped the top end, because hidden damage is visible there, and we kept it honest. It was one engine, so we tracked trends over time, not fantasy, not brand new reality. Owner's manuals split normal and severe, and short trips land in severe work because moisture and fuel linger longer. If you want reliable guidance, hit like, subscribe, and drop your interval and driving style in comments, mostly highway or short trips. In a minute, the first oil jar looks normal, but the smell is troubling and it flips the whole story. Section 2. What oil is supposed to do and how it fails. Oil is not just a slippery liquid. It is a working film that keeps metal apart, damps impact, and buys reliable time. It also cools hot parts, suspends dirt, and seals rings. And the additive package keeps things stable when engines run hotter. Bad belief is, oil lasts as long as it looks dark but fine, and that confidence feeds profits for everybody except you. Oxidation thickens oil into varnish, fuel dilution thins it, and heat cooks additives until protection turns weaker, quickly. Soot and dust turn the sump into abrasive paste, and that paste creates silent wear with expensive payback. On a white card, fresh oil beside used oil shows visible haze, streaking, and deposits you cannot argue with. Then the rub test on a clean rag reveals grinding texture, a warning sign your fingers notice first. Once additives are depleted, the base oil may still look okay, but your safety margin becomes lesser danger. That is why long intervals can feel normal, then a cold start turns noisier and rougher quicker. Shear in pumps and chains cuts viscosity, and when viscosity drifts, bearings lose protection. Longer before you notice. Then the engine runs hotter and louder suddenly. Lab work on oil aging tracks, oxidation, nitration, contamination, and additive depletion as the big testing patterns. So we follow evidence, not vibes, because oil changes are cheaper service than teardown regret for most daily drivers. Next, we stack samples by mileage, and the long interval jar shows regretful warning clues you cannot unsee. Section 3. Oil condition over time. What the samples actually show. We grabbed a baseline sample after the fresh fill, then a mid-interval sample, then an end-interval sample for both plans, because consistent steps create reliable proof. The first change is not always color. It is smell, texture, and how the oil clings, because chemistry shifts before it looks dramatic, visible. Under a flashlight, suspended specks swirl like smoke, and on the longer plan, those specks hang around longer and look dirtier. We watch the dipstick wipe on a clean towel, and that coffee ring edge is a warning for oxidation and deposit starting. On the shorter plan, the wipe stayed more even. The edge stain stayed smaller, and the drainback looked cleaner, healthier. We kept it simple, but we still pulled used oil analysis, tracking wear metals, viscosity drift, and fuel dilution, because measured trends beat guesses, and trends tell truth. One report can be noisy, but repeat samples show direction, and direction predicts expensive, failure wear before you hear it. Short trip driving punishes long intervals first, because moisture and fuel stay inside unless the oil holds heat longer, and manuals classify that as severe, official use. If you have ever stretched an interval and felt regretful results, comment what happened and subscribe so you catch the teardown section. Oil color is the bait, but the filter cut is where brutal damage shows up, and it shocks people every time. Section 4. Metalware, filter cut, and where the engine pays the price. This is the moment owners go quiet. We cut the filter open, spread pleats, and hunt for shimmer warning glitter. Normal oil leaves a dark paste that feels smooth, while abnormal wear leaves bright flecks that scream damage, expensive. Bearings shed softer metals, rings and cylinder walls shed iron, and timing sets shed fine dust. So wear patterns tell a clear failure story. On the shorter interval, the pleats looked more uniform, and the trapped debris stayed finer, which suggests lower wear and healthier film strength. On the longer interval, the pleats held more specks, and the backside showed darker streaking. A visual clue contamination stayed active, even though the dipstick looked cleaner at first glance. We checked the drain plug magnet too, and normal fuzz is thin gray hair, while chunky pieces are a serious, troubling sign. Here is the trap. A long interval can run smoothly today, then the margin drops, wear accelerates, and winter cold starts hit harder. Danger. That is why sellers love long intervals. The car feels fine. The buyer drives away, and the next person inherits expensive, regretful repairs. Shops see timing wear and bearing noise after oil neglect, and the bill lands in thousands quickly. We are not selling fear, we are showing evidence. Because this is how reliable engines die younger, longer before the owner notices. Now we go under the valve cover. Because sludge does not start where you think it starts, and the first spot is shocking, visible. Section 5. Sludge and deposits. The real engine killer nobody sees early. Sludge is cooked oil mixed with moisture and blow-by leftovers. It turns into sticky junk that blocks flow and steals reliable years. It does not arrive as a black brick overnight. It starts as varnish, then becomes thickened film that grabs dirt and turns expensive. Under the valve cover, the hot zones told the truth. Cam trays, timing cover corners, and the tiny oil return holes that keep drain back cleaner. On the shorter plan, those return paths stayed clearer. The metal stayed brighter, and the top end looked less baked after each interval. On the longer plan, varnish crept wider. The return holes showed stained edges, and the timing area carried more deposits you can feel with a glove. Deposits trap heat, then heat accelerates oxidation, then oxidation creates more deposits. A vicious loop that snowballs rapidly. Down in the ring pack, that sticky residue can glue oil control rings, and then consumption climbs, smoking starts, and diagnosis gets costly. Owners call it a weak engine, but we see the pattern: cooked oil, short trips, and stretched intervals that look cheaper on paper. If you think sludge is only an old car problem, wait until you hear how the cold start noise changes in the next section. Section 6. Engine noise changes, plus our shop-proof reality. We recorded cold starts with a decibel meter and the same mic spot because moving cameras create false drama. On the shorter interval phase, the tick window was shorter, the idle felt smoother, and the sound cleaned up quickly after pressure built. On the longer interval phase, the first seconds were sharper, the idle was rougher, and the top end sounded drier on cold mornings. Thin oil from fuel dilution can make valve train parts clatter louder, and thick oxidized oil can flow slower at startup, so both paths raise damage. Noise is not a perfect test. Some engines are just chatty, but when the jars, the filters, and the borescope agree, it becomes strong evidence. Here is our shop proof. We have seen perfect history cars roll in with a clean dipstick and a steady owner, but the filter was loaded, and the top end was varnished, because the driver trusted longer intervals in short trip traffic. Those owners swear nothing felt wrong, until one morning a warning rattle showed up and the estimate turned painful. If this is saving you expensive guesses, hit like, subscribe, and tell us your mileage and oil spec in comments. We will push the safest habits. Next, we show the temps, because oil life is mostly heating, not miles, and the log surprised even our crew. Section 7. Temperature differences, oil life monitors, and what they really track. Coolant warms fast, the gauge looks normal, and drivers relax, but oil temperature lags and stays misleading early. We logged oil temps every loop, and the pattern was consistent. The same miles can mean very different stress when half those miles are cold starts and long idle. A steady highway pull holds heating longer, it purges moisture, and ventilation stays stable, while stop and go keeps oil cooler and contamination stays active. That is why one driver can follow a normal sticker and stay reliable, while another follows it and ends up sludged and frustrated. Oil life monitors can be helpful tools, but they are estimators. They use operating data like temps and RPM. They do not directly test oil chemistry. So if your routine is short trips, heavy traffic, or long idling, stop trusting the normal schedule, treat it like severe service, and shorten the interval. We also watched heat soak after hard pulls, because shutdown keeps parts scorching and oil oxidizes quicker, and that is where deposits start. Once you understand temps, the debate stops being about miles. It becomes about heating cycles and additive survival. Now we answer the question everyone asks: who can safely stretch, and who is playing with thousands? Section 8. Long-term reliable implications. Who gets punished first? In the shop, the high-risk patterns show up first. Repeated short trips, long idle, towing, desert heat, turbo heat soak, and direct injection fuel dilution, because each one adds contamination or scorching cycles. Silent wear becomes expensive, brutal, and heartbreaking. That fuel dilution is not a small detail. It can thin viscosity, weaken film strength, and raise bearing wear before the driver feels anything. The lower risk pattern is boring. Longer highway drives, steady load and steady temps, plus regular level checks, because the oil gets time to purge moisture and stay stable. This is where owners get burned. They copy a friend's long interval, but their commute is city traffic, and their oil never stays hot long enough to cleanse. So the right interval is not a flex. It is a risky decision based on your driving, your climate, and your discipline with level checks. If you care about longer life, choose the interval that keeps the engine cleaner, not the one that looks cheaper on a receipt. Comment short or longer for what you run now, then subscribe, because we are about to give the verdict and the simple rules that protect engines longer. The verdict is not what the dealership sticker wants you to believe. Section 9. Cost math, the verdict, and rules that keep engines alive. Short changes spend more on oil and filters, but stretch schedules invite oxidation and damage. If you pay for your own service, an extra change or two a year is usually $60 to $120 each, depending on quality and region. Even at $100 a service, it is cheaper insurance than one miserable tow bill in summer traffic. Compare that to timing chain work. Many shops quote $800 to $2,000, and that is before expensive teardown begins. Varnish and sludge cleanup can run $400 to $1,200, and some jobs snowball when passages are restricted and seals start leaking. Our test says most daily drivers should choose the shorter plan for reliable life, especially with short trips and heating. Longer runs only make sense when conditions are ideal, and you verify with oil analysis. Trending, not hope. Use the correct specification. Check level every other fill-up. Follow the severe schedule if your commute is brief, and never skip the filter. In the next video, we show the under $100 filter check that spots wear early, keeps repairs cheaper, and stops your engine from paying interest. Stretched intervals feel cheaper today, but they leave your engine dirty and weaker tomorrow. Click the video for the simple filter check under $100 that saves thousands.